G'day, and thanks for tuning in to the final episode of creaYTors.
Have mercy on me, a sinner.
I'm MP Numbers. Myself and Matt from Total MTG have been joined by three fantastic judges who are going to be giving some feedback to help us decide who the winner is. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, MTG Magpie here, and I'm so excited to be one of your creators' grand final judges. Been following the series along the way, and it was super exciting to actually have a part in this, so yeah. I am a small Magic the Gathering YouTuber from the UK, started this year. We do a lot of product opening on my channel. My thing is foils and foil nails, so, you know, behold. I don't actually have a face currently, so you just get my hands and my iPad to give you something to watch as we go through. But anyway, enough about me.
Welcome, creators. We are
Young Mage.
I am Papa Mage,
And I am Rhino.
and we've been doing the Young Mage channel for about 2 years now. And let's see. Quickly, I started playing Magic back in 1993 with Beta. I've been playing off and on for many years. You know, things often come and get in the way of playing Magic, like having kids. So when they get old enough, what you do is you start up a YouTube channel. And you've been playing since?
I've been playing since 2014, and I think my first set was 2000. Oh wait, no,
was M15.
M15, yeah.
But yeah. But let's see, we do live streams, we do deck techs, card explanations, game mechanic explanations, and it's all focused towards new and young players. So our motto is reaching and teaching young mages of all ages.
Hey everyone, Coops here from the whole Box and Dice, and this is something very different. Normally I just do, you know, deck techs and booster packs openings and can we flip it and a whole bunch of fun silly stuff, but a little bit more serious today. Given how serious this is, I thought we'd bring our own flair to it. So I've got my sweet judge hat. As you can see, very serious. So I just put this on, put my judge hat on, just chilling, you know. So with the power vested in me by old Petey the Dino, we will, let's look at some videos.
Challenge 1 was to create a video on the life of Garrick. Challenge with MTG and me, looking at the concept. I think you nailed the story, got all the important elements that I wanted in it, kept to the challenge, really happy overall. A couple of little editing tweaks that I talk about, the fact that some points the writing went off the screen, wasn't a big fan of that, but we're not judging on editing or recording, we're looking just at the concept. So I got the story that I wanted, I got the information out there, and I was really happy with it. Jake and Joel. Now, while I love that you guys got your comedy element into this, and if this is Jake's first attempt at doing some editing, it is fantastic, and we really need him to start doing some more. I like that you guys hit most of the major points, but there is one thing that I'm really going to have to look at, and I'm going to jump back to former me from the challenge video.
Basically, we'll be judging on the accuracy of the information. I have a strict time limit of this one of 5 minutes, and I want it to be 5 minutes. I don't want it to be under 5 minutes, I don't want it to be over 5 minutes. Like, anything other than that is basically not hitting the challenge.
Unfortunately, guys, you did have a time fail, and while there were important points in there, obviously we had a lot of made-up story. The challenge did call for a factual video. So, while it's a great video, great fun, I loved the voice acting, and the editing was really solid, especially for a first-time edit. Gonna have to give this one a fail, unfortunately.
So first up we have the video from Jake and Joel for the concept, the absolutely not made up history of Garruk the Planeswalker. Wow, guys, where do I start with this video? What an absolute idea. I love the atmosphere you guys created with the music and the images that are going on in the background. Thought that was brilliant. Sort of as a new player to Magic, I'm not entirely sure how accurate some of the information was, but hey ho. And maybe it was a tad little on the long side, but you know, absolutely fantastic video. Really enjoyed it. MTG and Me, we have Where Are They Now, which I thought was a fantastic sort of series idea, and I would have been really excited to see more of these on different Planeswalkers. I really felt like I learned something from this video, like about the lore and the history of Garruk. I loved the transition we went through, sort of the rise and fall of the character. The only thing I would have said is when you've got images in the background, I felt like some of the changes were a little jarring. They needed maybe some transition effects. But really, I just really enjoyed the video. I felt like I learned something from it, and the length was spot on, just about right there. So yeah, good job.
Let's talk a little bit about Gary Truck. Garuck. Okay, that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. Garuck. So says, Mark Rosewater. So let's start with Jake and Joel. Y'all did a fabulous job. It is a great story. We know that it was supposed to be only 5 minutes long, and we love it when you push the rules, but there's double the length. But it still kept our interest, and you loved it.
I loved that story about Garuck. I loved it. I think they did the dancing.
Yeah, they did the dancing thing.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go to. So it was really long, but it did keep our interest. Now, Magic and Me, you were spot on the history.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. We really loved the theme of where are they now. However, the problem that both of us had with it is that kind of like commercial break, dun 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 dun. One time it was really cool, and I thought, oh hey, it's over with already. And then you started back up and say, oh, okay, so there's going to be another section. And then you did it again. And then you did it again. And then again. Okay. So, we really liked that whole where are they now idea, but we didn't need 4 of them in 5 minutes. So that's my only criticism right there. And other than that, the music was great. We liked the music on both of them. You did a great job with bringing in the graphics. And with that, we'll go on to the next.
This was going to be so difficult for me until I read the rules and it was accurate history of the lore and the Planeswalker, because I want to believe Jake and Joel that the dancing Planeswalker Garuk was a real thing, but I can't make that leap. I can't make that leap when MTG and Me did such an awesome job at just breaking down just the history and the lore and just kind of the change from where he started to kind of where we last saw him in the multiverse. And it would be cool. I think it would be cool to see Garruk back in the multiverse. I think that would be very, very nice. But if he's a dancing Planeswalker, he probably fits pretty well with new Jason Garruk, dancing away. I think their costumes could be quite appropriate. It was tough. It was very, very tough. But if it's got to be based on the actual lore of the Planeswalker, I've got to give it to MTG Me. But awesome video, Jake and Joel. Absolutely loved it. I will say MTG Me, I really didn't like the do-do-do things. That kind of was cool for the first time, and then it triggered me immensely. Same with Petey. He wasn't a fan. The high-frequency noises, they get to him.
Now to look at their recording challenge to create a draft video. MTG and Me. I was really impressed with the way you started the video. The audio was solid and I was like, he's got it. Then we jumped past the opening skit into the video details and moving on further, and it went back to kind of what I expected from Charles here. I think the video is really well framed. I like the way that you've split the board up, so you've got yourself on camera, you've got the cards up there, you've got stuff happening, you've got it all moving, and nothing's really overbearing the screen at all. Really like the draft, and for one, thanks for the lesson on Solomon drafting. I'd never heard of it. Jake and Joel's draft video, MTGO draft. Love a good MTGO draft. I think you've got it set out solid. You've got cards big enough that we can see them. You've got enough action happening. We can see both of you live. A little bit of colour in the overlay, which is awesome. One thing I have noted is that where we're seeing Joel's face, it is overlapping some of the cards, and once you get further in with all your picks, that could matter. Takes away from the experience a little bit, but whatever. Only other suggestion I'd make is close the draft table. Close the draft table. Nobody cares about that. It just takes up room that you don't need to. Really like this. Like seeing you guys overlay. Obviously, this is from a stream. Looking forward to seeing you guys get some more drafts, some more MTGO gameplay in there if that's something you're interested in doing.
Moving on to recording and the draft now. We have the Solomon draft from MTG and Me. As a new player, I found it a little bit confusing to follow and maybe not the draft experience I'm familiar with, so but it doesn't really matter because it's not about that first, it's about the recording of it. Overall, I love the mash of variety of footage you have. So we have this sort of overlay footage over the cards, the little intro bit, the car driving, nice. But in general, I felt maybe the cards were a little bit hard to read, but I am on this iPad, so obviously HD and things, a bit of an issue. But other than that, fantastic video, fantastic idea, pretty good recording. Thumbs up. Recording for Jake and Joel, we have this draft video, and if I wanted the draft experience, oh boy, do I get the full draft experience here, guys. Just, you know, the client version presentation is obviously very neat. I liked your little webcams, your little overlay there. I did feel that maybe this webcam here blocked some of the card choices if I wanted to track that going through the draft. But otherwise, very clean, very neat. Felt like the draft experience I was maybe familiar with as sort of a newer player into Magic. And yeah, just really comprehensive, guys, on the length side, perhaps. But, you know, I suppose if you're into draft, you're into draft. So yeah, thumbs up.
All right, now to drafting fun. All right, we're going to start off with MTG Me. And we love the whole idea of using repacks for drafting. They're a great source for drafting. And we like the theme of, you know, your friends canceling on you because, well, that never happens ever, right? It's so yeah. But you did a great job with the background music. But the problem was...
Wait. I think I forgot their video.
That was the one with all the high speed that...
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you were doing the high speed and you were talking, that dragged me away from the talking, and I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, so he was really distracted with all the high speed, and he didn't hear the explanation of how the Solomon draft worked, and so he was completely confused. So one of the things we were thinking of was maybe do a little bit of high speed, you know, zip, 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 zip. Oh, here we are, we're grabbing the packs. Zip, 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 we're back. And now this is how we're going to do the Solomon draft, and then show how you, you know, sort through them and talk through the whole process and show the different piles. I think that would have been a lot better. So showing instead of explain. Jake and Joel, drafting online. We loved how you explained pretty much every decision that you made. And this is great using Magic Online to do that, because if you're sitting at a table with a bunch of other guys or other players, sorry, I'm using the generic version of guys, but if you're sitting at around the table, you're not going to explain, hey, I'm not taking this and I'm going to choose this instead of that. You know, that's just Magic Online is a great way of doing that explanation. The only downside that we saw was maybe the fact that the audio was a little bit on the hollow side, and we know how that is with doing live stream sort of stuff and having two people and, you know, a single microphone picking things up. So our suggestion would have been before you submitted it, put a little bit of background music in there. I mean, it doesn't have to be much. Very, very low level audio, and it's enough to just kind of knock that hollowness out. I don't think you really have to go through and do any major adjustments on the audio, but just putting in a little background music for a quick turnaround would have been great.
Video number 2. What was video number 2? That was the draft video. Very contrasting videos. I was going to say Solemnity, but it's not that. MTG Me did a Solomon draft, which I'd never seen before. It looks amazingly fun. I'm definitely going to do one of them now. And Jake and Joel did something off MTGO, and I think that's really what got it over for me for Jake and Joel. The video was crisp. It was easy to see the cards. Had a little bit of difficulty like reading what some of the cards were for MTG and Me, and whilst I was very interested to learn about a new format, and I've watched like 5 videos on it now, I got to give it to Jake and Joel. Just thought the video was great. The banter was great. The thoughts were actually like accurate. It was nice to hear like refreshing, just like copying LSV and like the draft guide and pick order. So I thought that was amazing. It was very funny to watch. So got to give you Jake and Joel the vote there. So that was one each.
Finally, we've got our editing challenges to look at. Now, at this very point in time, I do not know who did which challenge, but I've got some positives and negatives for each of them. In challenge 1, you picked some unique music, which I think probably fit the theme a little bit better, where in challenge 2, you used the music that I've been using personally for the whole series, which is, both ways can be looked at positive. Video 1 was a lot shorter and did split the video up into multiple different sections with different headings and titles flying in and out, which I like. Video 2 was a bit longer, but was a bit longer, only had the single title. We're comparing one against the other. Video 2 is definitely a lot smoother. I know I did not make it easy for you guys. I tend to do a lot of these hand gestures. I tend to look around a lot, shift up my position, and I did that on purpose because I didn't want this to just be a walk in the park. But they were both really good. Neither of you made me look ridiculous, and I really appreciate that.
And this is Finalist 1's video. I really liked the way this was sort of thematically divided into sections. It really helped the message of the video be quite coherent, but overall I felt the editing was maybe a little bit on the shaky side. There were lots of sort of hitches in the sound where it had been cut a little bit early. And I think the biggest thing that got me with this video is there's quite a lot of hand waving and then cuts where hands are in different positions from the shot they were in before. And it was a little bit jarring to watch. But overall, I really liked how it was sort of grouped together in a theme to get the message across. So that was good. And then this is the entry for Finalist 2. This one, in general, I felt was edited a little bit smoother. The hand waving was a little less noticeable in places. The sound was generally really good. Felt maybe the background music was a tad too loud in some places, but I did listen to this with headphones in, so that might have been a thing on my end rather than your end. There wasn't any sort of framing, so it was quite a long message to go through, but overall I felt this video worked pretty well. So yeah, thumbs up there.
Now, the editing. We know that you got some really difficult stuff to edit. And there was one longer video and one shorter video. And they both had basically the same sort of information in them, which was good. And they both did jump cuts. There wasn't anything super fancy done with the editing that we noticed. So when it gets right down to it, there was a shorter one and a longer one, and the shorter one seemed to be a bit more choppy than the longer one, and the longer one seemed to have less edits in it. I didn't go back and check, but that's just the way it seemed. So I don't know what to say about how to edit it better. Because we didn't get the source to look at beforehand, and there's a lot of times that when we do videos, we will go through and we'll go all the way through and say, let's redo that. And we start all over from the very beginning, and there's times he hates it, and then there's times he's like, yeah, that doing it again, that was much better. Getting the thoughts down.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm gonna make it. No, I'm gonna make it.
And this is what I was saying about the last one. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad it was not titled, because I wouldn't know how to split it. And I thought the editing was amazing. It was super cool. And what won it for me was the music. I don't know whose entry 1 was, but I thought that music was just better suited to the video than entry number 2. It was a lot more like upbeat, and I felt like it fit kind of what Sean was talking about during the video, and like only just by the smallest margin though. It's not like the music in entry 2 is bad or anything. I just preferred the music in entry 1, and that's as close as I could split it. So I had to find something that I liked more, and came down to just the sweet tunes that were over the top. So whoever entry number 1 was, that's where my final vote of the 3-part is going to go.
And now to pick a winner. The judges were each asked to pick the best video for each challenge. Whoever gets the most votes for each challenge wins that challenge, and whoever wins the most challenges wins the competition. So with the concept video, on a vote of 4-1, the winner was MTG and Me. Looking at the draft challenge, on a vote of 3-2, the winner was Jake and Joel. So that means that our contestants are tied 1-1, and it comes down to the edit video. Now the final challenge, on a vote of 3-2, meaning that there was 1 point difference between the winners. The winner was entry 2. So that means I need to find out who did entry 2.
MTG and Me, this is Charles, and it's the moment of truth. We filmed challenge video number 1. All right. Thanks for watching.
So the video that we edited, or I edited, was the one that had the like dubstep intro.
And that means the winners are Jake and Joel. It's awesome. Commiserations, of course, Team MTG and Me, but look, let's go with the fact that Team MTG and Me coming in this with only about 150 subs, facing off against the giant Team Jake and Joel with well over 500 subs, now with sponsors and well on the track going up. And the competition was literally down to one single vote, with MTG and Me taking out 2 of the challenges to start with. Wow, it's been a great run. Congratulations, Jake and Joel. Thank you, everybody who was involved in this. Look forward to season 2. Keep an eye on Jake and Joel's channel. We're going to be organising a nice little playmat for them to say thank you and congratulations. And stay tuned the next little bit. We're going to give you a little sneak preview of what to expect for season 2. At least who to expect for season 2. Thanks for hanging out.
Just in general, a big thumbs up to everyone involved, to both the finalists and all the other competitors throughout creaTors. It's been a fantastic series, and I can't believe I got to be involved in a tiny part in the end. And yeah, that's MTG Magpie signing off. Bye!
So congratulations to both of you, all of you, for doing such a fabulous job and getting this far. Thank you for allowing us to be part of this. And until the next video,
Rhino out.
Once again, just a huge shout out to everyone who participated in the competition. I've had a lot of fun watching it. Very cool to be able to judge it at the end of the first season. Congratulations to MB Numbers for just doing such a cool thing. Best of luck to Jake and Joel and MTG and Me. Got my fingers crossed. Petey doesn't have fingers, but he's got like these weird like ear flap things, and you can tie them up, I guess.